What about that? Did you? Charlie retired.
You're too far. A little more. Down. There you go.
Yeah. Mom next to mom. At least I thought that's what it was during COVID. After I want to see pictures of all the granddaughters. Oh, yeah.
Cheers are pretty open.
Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
Yeah, I turned all my volumes off.
David.
My husband.
David. Hi, David. Nice to meet you.
Carol. Right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for coming out today for this special occasion. Just doing a few welcoming remarks here. We're here today to honor Chief Andrew McCusker and all of his family who are in attendance. Chief McCusker was the town of Newington's first constable, and back in 1947 he oversaw the meeting at the town auditorium that officially established an organized police department in town. So it's a very, very cool story, and it's a really, really awesome event that we're here for, and we're just happy to have you all folks here with us on this beautiful day today. Yeah. I'm going to introduce our police chief, Chris Perry, who's going to come in and say some more great remarks about Chief McCusker.
All right, first and foremost, I want to welcome the McCusker family. Also, Senator Lesser, State Representative Turco, our town councilors, Mayor Twister, and the town manager, Jamie Tretson. In 1934, there were 7 town constables, and they were basically paid $3 per arrest that resulted in a guilty verdict. So you can clearly see how times have changed. Policing now. That wouldn't get you very far. In 1947, the functioning police constabulary was replaced by an organized police department, and Chief William Halloran was appointed as the first chief of police. Andrew J. McCusker was appointed as one of the first 3 police officers. At the time, the population in Newington was 5,499 people.
What is it today?
We'll get there. Significantly more. Chief Halloran passed away on May 29th of 1965, and Chief McCusker was appointed as the second police chief on June 18th, 1965. So it basically took 3 weeks to decide that he was exactly the right person for the position. I just went through a 4-month process before they picked me, so 3 weeks he was fast-tracked. They knew what they were doing. At that time, Newington PD grew to 22 sworn police officers, 15 supernumerary officers, 2 policewomen, and a civilian support staff of 5 individuals. Chief McCusker retired on October 10th of 1967. Chief McCusker was one of the original architects that helped build this great police department into what it's evolved to today. Staffing has grown up to 53 sworn officers with a civilian support staff of 8 individuals. Our current population is 30,540. We honor the hard work and dedication of those who came before us as we navigate the difficult task of law enforcement. As the 8th appointed chief of police, I can only hope to continue to grow our department and continue to provide exceptional police services to the town of Newington as my predecessors did. Chief McCusker's impact continues to this day as his great-granddaughter Melissa Rome is currently a police officer with us. I want to thank the McCusker family for their support and contributions to the town of Newington for almost a century. We appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Perry, for giving that really thorough and great sort of tribute to Chief McCusker. That was the details, and I did not realize his great-granddaughter is on the police force here in Newington. I mean, what a way to continue on the great legacy of the former chief. So thank you. And thank you so much for the far as Maine? Yes. Is that even further? And locally here, and still in Newington and throughout the region, to be here for this special tribute. Thank you to the mayor and to the town staff, and we have our town councilors here, Kathy Gonzalez, Matt Lord, AJ Timiakos, and Gail Pedraco here. Thank you, town councilors and mayor, and then of course our great Senator Lesser. And our entire, not our entire, but the group of Newington Police Department. It looks like the entire on-duty force at the moment. Thank you for being here as well to pay this great tribute. When Marty Braun approached me, it's over a year ago now, right, Marty?
Yes.
Approached me as the state representative for Newington and Senator Lesser, and I serve on the Transportation Committee. Marty approached me and said, you know, we have this great individual who represented the town of Newington, Andrew J. McCusker Jr., represented Newington, was a longtime resident in so many ways, as first constable, as one of the first police officers, and then rising to the rank of chief of police. But the sign on the Memorial Bridge here over Millbrook on Route 175 for Cedar Street just has his name without any title. And so many other bridges and roads that you see throughout Connecticut come along with the person's name and a title to show tribute, represent, honor something that they accomplished in life. So Marty had said to me, you know, we really want the town of Newington to know the history of our great former chief, and could I get the sign changed? So working with Senator Lesser, we put in legislation, and it got incorporated into a Transportation Committee bill that made the change that you will see here to now say Police Chief Andrew J. McCusker Jr. to really show our thanks, show our tribute, and ensure that Newington residents and the 60,000 cars, is that right, Newington police that drive on this road today will see the sign and know the great significance of who he was to our community. So that's something that we can be really grateful for. The sign is already up.
I was told
So when you'll drive, you'll see it. A lot of times we do these dedications at the site of the sign. But as everyone will tell you, Cedar Street is really busy, could be dangerous, and we have a large group. So instead, the sign has been put up both ways by our Department of Transportation, but we have here a ceremonial sign that someone in the family can take home, maybe a trade-off every year. Someone gets an opportunity to hang it on their mantle over the fireplace to remember the great Andrew J. McCusker Jr., our police chief. So I'd like to now turn it over to Senator Lesser to say a few words, and then we'd like to give an opportunity for some members of the family. We have Andrew J. McCusker the fourth here, the grandson, to be able to say some words, but there might be some other family members that like to as well. So Senator Lesser.
Thank you, Gary. And I just want to say that although we needed to get this through both chambers, that Representative Turco really always is looking for things to do to honor people in Newington and Newington residents, and he took the lead in this, and I just think it is great that we're doing this tweak to make sure that people know the whole history of the Newington Police Department and the special role that Andrew J. McCusker Jr. had in creating the department. And we'll honor that. We'll think about that every time we drive over that bridge. I also want to thank the Connecticut Department of Transportation, because legislators come up with a lot of harebrained ideas. They don't always have to say yes. And so working with them to make sure that not only are they doing this, but they're doing it quickly, they put up the signs, they brought it out here today. That makes our job a lot easier. And I want to say thank you to the Connecticut Transportation. And I'm just mindful, Chief Perry, to the men and women of the police department, of how Newington has changed over the last 77 years. You know, it was a sleeping farming town at one point, and now it's a bustling small city, big town, small city, and it has changed enormously, and a lot of that happened in the immediate aftermath of World War II. So it was really important for folks like Chief McCusker to understand how our country was changing, how the region was changing, and that the old, what worked in the past, the $3 bonus, it wasn't going to work for a bustling, thriving suburban community. And so that was really important. The legacy of the Newington Police Department is so important, and every time that the men and women of the department keep our community safe, it's really part of Chief McCusker's legacy. So it is entirely fitting that we do this, and I'm just so glad we got some good weather to do it as well. Thank you very much.
Now we would actually like to call up Andrew McCusker's grandson, Chief Perry. If you guys would mind unveiling the sign.
I just have to say thank you. I mean, if I do this, you guys are going to wait and I'm going to shake hands. So it's very appreciated. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I didn't even really have much of an awareness other than that there was the bridge. I live in Maine. I've lived in Alaska. I've lived in New Hampshire. Grew up at Crystal Lake, Ellington. So when we used to come down to Newington, throughout my whole young days, which were a long time ago, we would go to 99 Maple Hill Avenue, which is where they lived, for the holidays and do all that sort of thing. But then later on, I ended up working at Fenn for a year and a half, which I don't know what it is now. It's changed its name 6 times, but we made parts for Pratt & Whitney and helicopter companies, a couple of Boeing, Sikorsky, mostly. Anyway, so I've been through Newington on and off for many, many, many years, and coming from Crystal Lake, this was kind of like a real town, and it was really nice. And coming down Cedar Street every time, it's like, there used to be the children's home there and everything. It seems to me, it's always felt like a great town. So I just want to say that. As far as my grandfather, to relatively keep things a little short, because I could run on. But watch out for my brother if he gets up here. Right, Mick?
I'll be right behind you.
I'm going to say one thing that I think was pretty relevant. I was the oldest kid by 2 kids before the rest of the cousins started to come up. So I got a lot more attention, and of course I had the right name. My grandfather, he found out that I smoked at a young age and made a point of raising that. When I turned 16, I have a nickname in the family. Skipper has been my nickname for my whole life and in my family. So we're sitting down, I'm 16 years old, sitting down with him, and he's like, "Well, Skipper, I guess I should call you Andy now, actually." And I was like, can you imagine your family name? People have called you your whole life, and somebody is going like, I was just like, what? So that never happened. It never happened. And anyway, it was really good. But I'll bring up one example that I think that related to policing. I had several uncles and somehow relate my dad's cousin or whatever that also served as supernumeraries. Later on, Marty's husband Jerry actually was full-time on it. But I remember young Jerry coming up to my grandfather, and I don't know where exactly we were, but my grandfather was asking him sort of to follow up with rowdy kids causing trouble. I think it was sort of down by the Blue Danube. Is that still exist? No. Boy, talk about historic. Somebody knows where it was anyway, but it was a nice spot anyway. And the fact that Jerry explained, yes, he did encounter these kids. My impression was it was like put a little fear into them. Didn't arrest anybody. Probably were arrestable. Didn't arrest anybody. Put some fear into them, and then disperse the set of kids that were causing this rowdiness and problem.
And then my grandfather, the right thing to me again is he says to Jerry, keep an eye on that, right? You're going to follow up, make sure. Yes. You know, so it's like, you know, if you can, and I'm sure this is part of policing, trying to balance putting the fear and the awareness out there with like, yeah, okay, handcuffs, here you go. And I just, you know, and I felt like that was the nature of my grandfather. I feel like from what I knew about people in the town, that was the way he was seen as somebody that was fair and good and handled the situations really well. And I could say a lot more, but I'm not gonna. I will say that I was fortunate enough. My dad received this on my grandfather's death. It's a pen holder on the desk, and it's just got his name, you know, in a little sticky thing here, Andrew J. McCusker Jr., but it's got the badge, and then appointed to the department 10/27/47, appointed to Chief of Police 6/10/65, I think he said the 13th. But I don't know.
No auditors.
Yeah, how do I know? And anyway, but the whole thing was really interesting, and I think he is somebody for what he did in the town that, you know, should have it straight. And I appreciate very much the efforts that were made here. And the last thing I remember about my grandfather was the funeral. And I mean, the police were every corner. And we flew from, I guess it was from St. Mary's Church to, I don't remember what the cemetery is.
New Britain.
New Britain Cemetery. And it was just quite an honor. Thank you.
The senator and the rep, that when they said they passed legislation, it's a big deal. You know, somebody has to write the bill in the Senate or the House, and then it has to get approved by both. Then it has to go to the governor, right? The governor has to sign it, and then the Pope has to throw holy water over it. Right? It's a big deal. So I for one, am very grateful, and I know that I can speak for our family to know that we are all very grateful for that. I will tell you this, and my brother alluded to it a little bit, that the respect and appreciation and connection with community service is very wide and very deep-seated in our family DNA. I was just talking to one of my cousins, there's two older cousins, and I was talking to one of them who's from Rhode Island, I'm from Massachusetts, and we're both seriously involved in land trust work. There's community service work, church work, you name it, it's in our genes. So for my grandfather, there was more than meets the eye, and you should all know that when you do things, you're a model for your kids, your family, your community, whatever. And that sign, I have the feels like, yeah, somebody's going to be inspired a little bit somehow by that. Might be subtly, might not be known at all, but anyway. Two last things here. I worked on the Berlin Turnpike back in 1969. There was a place, I don't think this area, I was stunned. It's called College Inn. And it was a place where people were underage. Remember? Go there in days. And it was just a place for dance and have a coke, and there was no rules. I remember I couldn't afford to get in, so I had to go prep cards ahead of time. So I helped prep cards going to friends playing and I had a blast. So that's my personal experience. There are lots of little experiences that we've all had in Newington, but that was one that's very memorable to me. And last of all, I will say that I went to Northwestern Connecticut Community College, and I'm so grateful because my guidance counselor came to me in my summer following my senior year. I graduated, and she called me, what are you doing next year? And I said, I don't know, my dad wants me to make a man of myself in the military. This is Vietnam, 1967, I graduated from high school. And I'm so grateful for all of you who serve your community, whether it's in law enforcement or in land trust or however you're servicing. I was horrified to think that I would go to Vietnam, which I don't know, I think that was somewhere between Colorado and Kansas. You had no idea. My yearbook was donated, not donated, memorialized. You guys who left school early here joined the Marines. They came home in a box. That yearbook was dedicated to them. So when I got stuff, said, you should be thinking about community college. I said, what is it? It's brand new. So I went to Northwest and then I had too much fun my first year. Nobody ever does that first year of college, away from home. So I had too much fun, and it looked like I was going to get drafted. But the second year I went back, I started making the honor roll, and I did for the rest of the way. But that first year I had no idea why I was there. I got drafted. I went to an appeal. I'm sitting in the Hartford Armory or someplace with this massive long hall, and way at the end there's 3 people sitting at a desk. And I hope none of you, people were all like older folks like that. They're sitting there, and I got a light on me, just like you think about, and I got a light on me, and they're looking at their paper, mumble, and they said, sir, are you your family from Newington? I went, yes. Is your grandfather Andrew? Yes. Is your father Andy? Yes. It was that connection that gave them the privilege, I think, and I know there's nepotism, and I don't like that, but I was on the honor roll. So it was my grandfather. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to go ahead and move forward by being the good name of McCusker from Newington. So, thank you.
Folks would like to come up, we can take a group picture in front of the sign. And,
All right.